Where's Alexander Usyk, the rabbit? Hey, rabbit! Usyk, you're next, little bitch. You're next. You are next. Me and you are next. Me and you. You're getting it, little rabbit. Hey.
I'm going to go home with my wife, my kids. Spent a lot of time on the road. I've been away a long time. I've fulfilled everything I've ever wanted to fulfill. I'm going to retire as the only second heavyweight in history after Rocky Marciano to retire undefeated.
For decades, the world heavyweight boxing champion has been called the most dangerous man on the planet. But we can only laugh at such a statement because these days, the best heavyweight on the planet is one of the most controversial and versatile champions, Tyson Fury. The Gypsy King has had his reputation badly tarnished by dumb career endings, useless Twitter wars, and out of the most convenient fights. But first things first, friends, today's video will focus on how Tyson Fury became the most cowardly champion in boxing. Please don't forget to like and forward comment, and also subscribe so you will never miss new videos. And here we go. Last August, Alexander Usyk beat Joshua for the second time, and then it started. Every hour, Fury's alarm clock rang and he was sure to post a couple of messages on Twitter or Instagram insulting, humiliating and urging the Ukrainian to fight. All this turmoil from the Gypsy King's side lasted for several months, and finally negotiations began. The world had not seen a unification fight of all the heavyweight belts in such a long time that fans who witnessed the event have already turned grey. If the parties had managed to reach an agreement, the fight between Fury and Usyk would have been the biggest event since at least 2020, but the key word here is if. From the very first meeting at the negotiating table, Fury had been pestering with Usyk's side about everything, especially the fees. The undefeated heavyweight wanted 70% of the whole bank, while he offered the undisputed cruiserweight champion to make do with the remainder. Already at this point, most of the champions would have walked away from the fight due to unequal terms, but Alexander and his team were willing to go up against Tyson even on such terms. For these proud men, it was the legacy that mattered, not money. Immediately after the negotiations, Fury did not miss his opportunity to yell at the camera once again.
Alex, Usyk's manager, you sausage. Borat wants his voice back, you f***. You'll get what you're getting, don't worry. You're the worst manager in history. You got your fighter to accept 30%, you bum dosser. You're not that clever, are you bum? You got outwitted by a man who never went to school in his life. Sausage. Keep talking, your boy's going to get smashed, and he's going to be beltless like the other bum, AJ. Come on! Rule Britannia.
But as it turned out a little later, money didn't play a big role for Fury either. Soon after the robbery in terms of finances, Usyk's side asked to put a mandatory rematch clause in the contract, which is a common practice in general. The important point about the second fight was the distribution of money. In case of Fury's initial victory, he would again take 70% regardless of the result, and in case of Alexander's initial victory, he would get 70% in the rematch. Nothing unfair, the terms are more than reasonable, but the British fighter insisted on the 50-50 bet in case of his first loss to Usyk. So it works for Tyson and not Usyk?
Hi, Tyson Fury here. Just a quick one. I've been speaking to the lawyers today, and Usyk's people are talking about rematch clauses and all that bollocks. Here's one to up the antes. How about there is no fucking rematch clause for both of us? Let's up the antes completely. Never worry about what's in the future and how many more dollars you can get after you've been defeated. Worry about the fight, April 29th, no rematch clause, the winner takes the glory, the loser goes home with his dick in his hand. How about that? Agree to that, you fucking bitch.
At this point, the patience of the team and Alexander, the champion himself, had run out. By the way, according to the rules of the promotion company, Usyk and Fury had to come to an agreement before April the 1st, otherwise there would be no fight. And so it happened. Tyson continued to insist on unrealistic terms to his side, and as a result he ruined probably the best fight of the last decade. Even patient Usyk, who was always ready to do anything for a fight, got tired of these backstage games from the Brit. Fury himself was overjoyed that the fight was cancelled and immediately recorded several videos with the only purpose to show how badass he was.
Alexander is no great. Alexander the coward. That's you. You little cowardly, ugly bastard. You had your opportunity to fight me in April. The biggest fight of all times. Fight of the century. But no, you wanted rematches, crying like a little girl. Sausage. You ain't no good, man. You're a piece of shit. Look at the state of your face after AJ butchered you in your fights. You ain't Mr. Unhittable. I'll annihilate you. Easy fight. Come and take your money. Get your 30%. No rematch clauses. Man on man. And I will annihilate your sausage. But you don't want it because you're a little ducker, ain't you? You're a little cowardly shithouse. In fact, AJ and Wilder and you, I own all three of yous. I'm the daddy. I'm the daddy. Me. I'm the daddy. Come and fight, you little cowardly bastard.
If you don't know the context, you could be fooled into thinking that Tyson is a real gangster who can fight anybody and anytime. But I'm begging you, he's even afraid to fight a drunk in the street without any contracts, lawyers, and lots of security around. But that's not all. How about this? From the beginning, Fury wasn't even going to sign a contract to fight Usyk. He was just pushing his rights until his opponent's nerves gave out. And this whole genius scheme was burned by the British trainer himself, who in March, when the camp in fact should have been in full swing, openly said that in recent months Tyson was training, but they prepared absolutely nothing for Usyk. They did not even hold the pause. Sugar Hill admitted that he was entirely focused on another mentee, Lawrence Okolie.
I still have other fighters to train and other things to worry about, like Lawrence Okolie, who I'm here with right now, preparing him to defend his world championship. So that's the only thing that's on my mind. And if I wasn't training Lawrence and I wasn't here right now, it would still be somebody else that I'm still working with and training, or maybe just a group of fighters that I'm focused on. If something becomes official, then I can take my attention and direct it in that direction. But other than that, I won't do it because I love staying stress-free.
A reasonable question arises. Why was there a need for all this buffoonery? If Tyson didn't want to fight Usyk from the beginning, why didn't he just refuse? Actually, the answer is in another, even more important question. Why doesn't Fury want to fight Alexander? It's banal. He's scared and he's trembling. He's scared of the thought of fighting with the invincible Ukrainian, and even such a big jock as AJ couldn't find a key to him. Usyk is not Deontay Wilder, who has nothing but punching power, not the old goddamn Derek Chisora who is breathing down Tyson's belly button. Alexander Usyk is a new level of boxing which Fury has never met before, and something unknown he is very much afraid of. It was the same with him before the meeting with Klitschko, whom Fury was afraid of like fire. He talked a lot, he pulled out the legendary performance with Batman to hide his sincere horror in front of the champion, but in the fight, he was not like himself. Fury managed to win 7 rounds with a lot of trouble against Vladimir, who was not in his peak form. And after the fight, the Brit talked about 10 minutes about how tough Klitschko was and how he wanted to be like him. It was obvious that he was very happy to beat the stylistic uncomfortable Ukrainian, and I'm 110% sure that Tyson agreed to fight Vladimir just because he was the champion. If Dr. Steelhammer didn't have the belts, Fury would have avoided him for the rest of his career. That's what the situation after their fight tells us. The fact is that Klitschko's side, as well as Usyk's team, had prepared a contract stipulating a rematch before the meeting. Boxers signed all the papers, the deal was settled, and their second fight was scheduled for spring. But then Fury started doing some crazy shit. He was talking about his loss of motivation, about how he didn't want to fight anymore, and that he had made enough money. He would post pictures from the gym and say he was getting ready for the rematch. A few weeks before the agreed date, Tyson broke his ankle and the fight was moved to October. Everything was going well, but in September, Fury did not show up to one of his first public events and then disappeared from any radar. His uncle, Peter Fury, had to take the rap for a negligent relative. Peter explained that Tyson seemed to have finally changed his mind to continue his career. Soon, the champion himself got in touch and confirmed this information. The boxing organizations pretty quickly stripped the guy of his belts, and he went into oblivion for 3 years until he announced that he was ready to fight again. He cannot be absolutely sure, but I think that Tyson didn't want a rematch with the Ukrainian, and that story about loss of motivation was made up to quietly escape behind the scene. This theory is supported by the fact that the Gypsy King only came back to the fight when Klitschko was finally done with his career after his loss to Joshua. To prove Tyson's cowardice in another way, let's look at who he's beaten in the last 5 years since his couch retirement. 2 no-names, draw with Wilder, no-name again, tough Swede Otto Wallen, who almost stopped Gypsy by inflicting a severe cut, Wilder again twice, good but not elite Dylan White, and Chisora, who was 1-3 record in his last performances, including loss to Usyk. The opposition is a laughingstock, not a single high-level boxer except Deontay Wilder, who was born to lose to Fury with his fighting style. Why in all these 5 years Tyson hasn't fought, let's say, Anthony Joshua, who had all the 3 belts that used to belong to the Gypsy King? Once again, we're back to the fear of losing our zeros in the loss column. Fury saw what AJ did to Klitschko, whom Tyson himself barely won. After such a powerful demonstration, the Brit did not even think to sign a contract and arrange a grandiose derby with his compatriot. Although there were possibilities and there was a lot of talk about his confrontation at the time, the first time the idea of a potential fight between British heavyweights came after Tyson's victory over Klitschko, and the second time the idea was born right after the Gypsy King came back to the ring. AJ was considered as a potential challenger for the comeback, but Fury obviously wasn't ready to fight such a dangerous guy. Since then, there have been several more talks about the possibility of a Fury-Joshua fight, but Tyson was not satisfied with money or dates. Even now they still talk about this intriguing encounter, but Joshua himself understands that he won't fight Fury even in the best case scenario. And this man who accepts only convenient fights is among the best boxers today, next to such monsters as Naoya Inoue, Terence Crawford, and in fact Alexander Usyk. I think it's a bane of respect to all those guys who fought the toughest opponents and came out victorious. The funniest part is that Tyson doesn't even think he's doing anything wrong. Well, you don't want to fight Usyk? Fine. Finally find yourself a worthy opponent and fight him. How many guys at the top of the heavyweight division are sitting around without a fight right now? But no, His Majesty won't come down from his throne without a $100 million guaranteed payout. Instead, he'll throw challenges to anyone, including MMA stars like UFC heavyweight champion John Jones.
See, John Jones has piped up. John, you're talking about me in a cage. I'm not a cage fighter, mate. I'm a boxer. The best boxer, actually. So if you want to come into a boxing ring and fight me, be my guest. Let me know. You don't have to call anybody else. No Darners, nobody. You call me. Because it's a boxing fight and I'm the boss in this game. Me. You're a great fighter, John. But you're definitely no boxer, and that's for sure. All the best. Good luck.
By the way, it's not the first time he's done that. I'm talking about fights against MMA heavyweight stars. Not so long ago, Fury challenged former UFC champion Francis Ngannou. The Cameroonian, among other things, left the promotion because of the Gypsy King and was left with nothing. Before John and Francis, in 2013, Fury had already challenged the great heavyweight Cain Velasquez. But as you can imagine, it never got any further than words. And it never will, because all Fury needs to do is stay in the media space and make sure everyone around him is talking about him while he's counting money somewhere in his house. As long as things are going well for Fury, he'll refuse to fight. He'll roll out his unrealistic terms, end his career, and as soon as they start to forget about him, he'll come back screaming, "Daddy's in the game," and sign a contract to fight some near-dead veteran. Then he'll spin a media space for a while again, and that cycle can continue as long as he wants. Actually, I think there's a scenario right now where Fury will never get back into the professional ring. He's very reverent about his legacy, besides realizing that he's not getting any younger. There's nothing stopping him from taking maximal cash exhibition fights and writing angry tweets, and sadly, we can forget about the fight with Usyk. We'll never see this really intriguing fight simply because Fury won't agree to fight Alexander, even if he'll give up money and go to the ring for the idea of the undisputed championship.
Greedy belly. Rematch clause come from your side, not mine. Stop whining and ducking. Be a man. Ink the contract or vacate the belt. I need undisputed. And not to play your stupid games.
A lot of the blame for the emergence of boxers like Tyson Fury lies in the very system that you and I support. Everyone wants to see how guys don't just wave their fist in the ring, but have something else to say or do something extraordinary. And this is what the Brit heavyweight knows. His tongue has made him one of the highest paid boxers in nowadays, and he's so rich that he can stop doing anything else in life. He's gotten very cocky on that, demanding all kinds of stupid demands which annoys us, the fans, but there's no way to change that. The only thing left is to hope that there's still guys like Usyk who will be ready to fight not only for money, but for the very idea of boxing, because only those athletes allow the sport to grow and become something more.